All right. So let's have a look. What have we got coming up? So the Magician. He is about creating he uses what he has to create what he wants, right? And that's why we always talk about as above, so below, as within, so without. It's using what's there. In kind of a very low vibrational reading, he's seen as a manipulator. Especially if he comes up around the High Priestess or anything. That's when, if you're doing a literal sometimes every card has an energy, a spectrum that it plays out on. The higher vibration of that energy and a low vibration of that energy. Highest vibration of the Magician is understanding that, okay, you look in your toolkit. This is what I know. These are the tools that I have. How can I create what I want out of this? And you are the magician. That's the whole point of this, that, you are the one that creates the magic and is able to do what you want with what you have, Now, that's kind of big when you look at it in terms of with the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is around our expectations, what we're waiting to come in. And, at its core, it says, we must base our expectations on the actions that we've taken. On the decisions that we made, the energy that we've put out into the world, acting on our passions, on our creative edges. A lot of creative energy coming in on what we're doing here, especially with the Page of Wands sat underneath it. The Magician is the true beginning of the major arcana. The true it's number 1, right? I know it's the Fool, that's 0, but the Fool is the Alpha and the Omega. Neither the beginning nor the end. It's both. That's what the Fool is. It's the transitional period where we're about to start something new. With the Magician, though, it is starting something new. It's where we go forward and we're starting something new. But our expectations, what are our expectations around that? And the Magician, the key thing for me, for the Magician, is confidence. It's the confidence. And the more confidence that we have for the bigger moves that we make, the more we can expect back, right? And the reason I'm saying that is the Six of Coins. Now, you're the third video that I'm doing, and out of the 3, everyone seems to have gotten this place of balance in the... So I think we're kind of upsetting the apple cart a little bit, collectively, all of us. If the readings are anything to go by, and I usually go by the energy that I read in the cards. And with the Six of Coins, Six of Pentacles come up, that's the past, where it may have been about figuring out what balances you, taking care of your own needs, right? Whether that's your physical body, whether that's, I need to work and sort my job out a little bit, or whatever you were focusing on, whatever you've been focusing on. And don't forget, the Six of Pentacles or Six of Coins comes in after the 5. And in the 5, there was lack. So you've been trying to redress the balance a little bit, bring it in something to take care of that lack, whether it was financial lack, emotional lack, whatever the lack was that you perceived. You've been taking care of that. So I don't feel like you've had a period of time where you've been able to create. It's been more about balancing the scales, right? Taking care of stuff. I would very much say there's not been a lot of progression. There's been a kind of time of being stuck, dealing with what there is there. But whatever that was, that period that you come out of, and this could be last week, last month, last year, it doesn't matter. It's the foundation of why we are where we are. And it's the contrast. So here we've been balancing stuff. The Page of Wands is now we're about to start something new. So we've got this energy of, right, time to move forward, time to go ahead. It's almost the Hanged Man energy that's coming up here. Except instead of just hanging there, it kind of feels like you have been trying to take care of something at a very practical level. For some of you, it's been getting your energy levels back. For some of you, it's been, like I said, making sure the bills are paid and stuff. Making sure you've got a little bit of extra stocked away in the bank before you start whatever it is. But now you're at a place to begin that. And it's the confidence to use what you know and the tools that you have to get what you want, so you can bring in what you want. These two both cover conscious manifestation. We're always manifesting, but conscious manifestation. In that, if this is about intention setting and taking the steps necessary to get what you want, this is where it comes in with the Three of Wands. What does everything revolve around? What is at the heart of your reading? We have the Chariot here. The Chariot. I think it's almost too easy to say that, the Chariot is balancing head and heart. That's almost too easy to say that about the Chariot, because it's more than that. What does that mean? What does it mean to balance head and heart? it's a level of self-control. I've seen the Chariot indicate things like a diet or an exercise plan. Do you see what I mean? Or, I'm going to have a routine now. I've changed up my routine. But this refers to the action, the determination, the moves that we make to get to where we want to go. Because the card before this was the 6, Lovers. And that's where we figured out what we loved. But I don't feel like you've been able to go for it before. Not with that 6 of Pentacles coming up. There were other things to take care of. Maybe there was help needed. Maybe the finances weren't there. The support wasn't there. But you've been taking care of that to get yourself to this even keel where you're able now to start thinking more dynamically, to pull out a few new moves to go forward. And so at the very least, with the Chariot showing up here, there is this urge to move. For some, it could be literal travel, right? If we're going for the mundane readings, which I try to stay away from in the generals, the Chariot is about, it can be a journey, a car trip or something that we're moving forward. Because there is movement here. And you're the Magician and you're the Charioteer. So there may be this thing of going in a direction that maybe you wouldn't have figured out before. That was the whole point of this, redressing the balance, getting that balance back, is that now you see a different path forward. And it's helped to build your confidence up. That was key. You wouldn't have had the confidence to do this before. Or the support or the whatever that balance that you brought in was. The help, right? So the Chariot is about moving forward now. What are we moving forward towards? You decided that already. This might have been a dream that you've had for a long time, or a goal, or even moving away. You've often heard me say, are we trying to get out of a situation or get into a situation? That shows where our focus is. Because if we're trying to get out, anywhere will do. If we're trying to get in, then it's very specifically moving towards that, taking the steps needed to get into a situation. Now, the fact that the Page of Wands is here, and I love the Page of Wands, the Sagittarius card is the Knight of Wands. And the Page of Wands is similar to the Knight of Wands. Maybe not as fast moving as the Knight of Wands. But this is the least serious card out of the court cards. I always see the Page of Wands as the least serious. He's all about trying something new, going in a new direction. And the key thing about him is that the excitement or the enthusiasms come back. That sparks back. This is the muse. This is that creative energy. This is inspiration when it starts to come in now. Very playful energy with the Page of Wands. And I'm guessing there hasn't been much play here with the 6 of Coins or the 6 of Pentacles coming up in the past. But this was crucial. I get the sense that maybe there's a few of you that feel like this energy was constraining, or it was a restraint. It was that time out on the naughty step. It was that kind of, you wanted to make moves and you couldn't, but you can make those moves now. But where are we going? What are we doing? How do we do that? And the Page of Wands in the present, no less, is very much saying, well, look, what excites us? What are we passionate about? What's that idea, or that, whether it's a passion project, creative idea, a hobby, people that you want to get to know, socializing more now. It's whatever that is, but it's playful and it's an expansion. It's action that we're taking. But it's stuff that we love to do or that we're passionate about doing. It's exciting, right? It's not, we don't have to do it. It's we want to do it. So what do you want to do in the present? And I feel like it's dynamic and it's going in a different direction. Something completely new. Something completely new. It's interesting because Libra got something, and it's, it makes sense that everything's going back to the Libra reading because we're in Libra season. A lot of Libra energy around at the moment. We have that Libra new moon. So very much with, especially with the Hierophant coming up, this is kind of breaking from tradition. What's been traditional for you? And I know it balanced the books, or it paid the bills, or it kept you, not having to face conflict in relationships, whatever it was that this was. But it's time to bring the fun back. Wow. All right. So the 8 of Coins or the 8 of Pentacles, it's about knuckling down and working on something. If you have a look at him, he's been up all night. The candles have all burnt down. It's light outside now, but he doesn't notice because he's been there all night, poring over the books. And look at his face. He's so enraptured by what he's reading, by what he's working on. Makes sense with the Page of Wands. So this is very much that energy of, this is what I want. This is, what I want to create. This is what I'm excited about. This is that spark that's within me. But now you're ready to start working on it. And this is your message if there's been something, but you've not known how to make it happen. Like, you weren't in the right place to be able to do it. You yourself weren't in the right place. You didn't have anything to give to it. You were trying to get that, whatever your stability was, get to a stable place in which to be able to do it. Now it feels like you are. That feels like you are. But the Eight of Coins or the Eight of Pentacles very much saying, well, okay, well, let's focus on this. Let's work on this. Even the Chariot, right? It's a victory card, yes. But what does that mean? Victory through our own determination and efforts. I kind of feel like, it's kind of, I'm seeing like the racehorses lined up. And, they're kind of like rearing to go, but the gates are down. And as soon as the gates open up, that's where they go. That's what it feels like. That now you can charge forward towards something. Now you can go. And you haven't been able to. You haven't been able to. But it depends. The question mark comes on how big you're willing to go. How big you're willing to go. And there's no right or wrong answer there. Some of you are going to be looking at, that's why the Magician is so crucial. It's the confidence in what you know and what you have. And what you expect back. Now, I always give the example of the cake that we have the recipe in our head. We have the ingredients in the cupboard. But until we use the ingredients to bake the cake and then put it in the oven, we don't actually have a cake until we do something with what we have. It kind of feels like that. But I think the Magician is key, and the Chariot and where we're going. Once you set the goal, the destination, that's going to dictate the kind of journey that you have. And that's what's been going on. That's what you're coming into this month with. So let me give an example. It's if you want to be, it's about, say for example, you could say, all right, I want to play football. Okay, so the whole point of what you're expecting back from that is, if it's just to stay fit, right, you might go kick the ball around in your back garden or the park at the weekends. That's what you'll put into it. Then you get the football and you do that. If it's like, well, no, I want to compete and play in a team and socialize and meet other people through this, have more fun, then you might get together a group of friends or with different companies, your clients and stuff get together and create this football team, and then you take it a little bit more seriously. You're going to work out a little bit more and do that. If you want to be a professional football player, then that becomes your full-time job. And that's what this feels like. You're trying to figure out, you have that spark, you have that inspiration. I've given the example of football. But it's what do you do with it? And that's going to dictate then the path that you take to it. The level of commitment you bring to this, or how much work you need to put into it. I mean, there could be someone that likes baking, talking about the cakes. Oh, I like making, and you say, that's amazing. Why don't you open a bakery? But they're like, no, I don't want to really show up and put that much effort into it. It's just something I enjoy doing when I've had a tough week, right? On a Saturday morning or something, making some cookies or some muffins or something. That's the extent of it. And that's what this feels like. You're now figuring out where's fun. And it's also the balance between what's fun and what, diligence and showing up and working on something. Now you have the Knight of Swords coming up in the future. Now that's interesting because this is speed. If we're looking at, the Knight of Swords in the Scorpio reading was a little different because that was about speaking your truth. And the Knight of Swords can be that. Absolutely can be that. But with the Chariot coming up here, it's almost, there's speed here. The Chariot kind of speeds things up. We've gone from this kind of very stagnant energy to speeding things up. And the Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight, in my opinion. Some people disagree and think it's the Knight of Wands, but I think it's the Knight of Swords. And it's like once you've figured out what it is that, what inspires you, what you're trying to create, how much work you're willing to put into it, then it's about going in, communicating that, taking action based on your beliefs. There's action here. There's movement here. Whatever's been happening has been to show you what you're made of, show you the tools that you have, show you what you can do, right?